Most agents don't have a plan when they're marketing. And let's be honest, a lot of the videos out there and content, it's like, I'll give you this little tactic, I'll give you this little tactic, I'll give you this little tactic. And it doesn't kind of show you the full thing, or it's 20 minutes of preamble for a super simple concept. So I'm going to go through the no BS quick walkthrough of a full marketing system that'll allow you to get listings on demand. And we do that with something we call the ACE marketing framework. This is something we've developed over the last 10 plus years of experience. And ACE just stands for attract, convert, engage. So if we want to get listings on demand with our marketing, we have to solve three problems. One is that your lead generation probably might feel like a little bit like you're gambling. Like you put money out and you just kind of hope that something comes through. Then you spend all your time chasing leads instead of closing deals. And then after you do a deal with someone, they're just kind of out of sight, out of mind, and they don't know it. So to solve those, you need a predictable pipeline of leads coming in. You have to set up a natural conversion flow that makes it really easy for leads to become prospects and prospects to become clients. And then you need to build in some type of loyalty flywheel that allows clients to keep coming back. And that's how you start growing your business consistently. And when you have all that mapped out, essentially what's going to start happening is your business grows. You just got to feed more people into it. So how do we do that? So let's start with the predictable pipeline. So you have a pipeline of leads that you know the more time you do this, the more eyeballs you get, it flows in. So we have to start with attracting the right people. So that's basically your niche. You need a niche of people that will come in and they'll help you kind of narrow down all your messaging and everything towards this one group. As your business grows and crosses certain thresholds, you can expand that niche. You can go into different niches. But especially when you're starting out and you're under, say, 30 deals a year, you need to be hitting a very specific niche and figure that out. Then you need some clear offers. And these are things that your ideal clients would resonate with, something they want. And it makes it a lot easier to have attractive offers when you know who your niche is. And these can be as simple as what's my home worth. It could be get a list of homes that they would specifically want. But again, keep it simple, have some clear offers. So anytime you're talking to someone, you have something to offer them. And then the third is content that connects. So this is content that you get your messaging out in front of people. It's going to get them seeing your stuff. And the more people who see it and it connects with them, they're going to see more of your offers. The more people take your offers, you'll start getting leads. And you'll notice as kind of your business grows and you start doing this more, once you nail those three, it's just about getting it in front of more people. And that becomes relatively simple. So if you nail that, the niche, the clear offers, and then content that connects, you will have a predictable pipeline of leads that consistently brings you in. Now, that's just the start. Getting leads is actually probably the easiest part once you know how. Then we get into converting them. And one of the problems is the lead to prospect piece. And this is where often you get people online saying the leads are crap or they use other language. And really what that is they're expecting a prospect and they're getting a lead. So if you get like 100 people who opted into like a what's my home worth, maybe only 10 of those have any intention of moving in the next year. Other people, maybe they're going through a divorce and they just want to get their home appraised. Maybe they're trying to fight like a tax assessment. There's a million other reasons that they could be getting a home eval and it has nothing to do with the fact that they're moving. So your job is to try and get those who are moving to put up their hand and say, okay, great, I'm going to kind of go harder on you. But a lot of people will look at the full 100 and say, okay, these are all prospects, and they're not yet. A prospect is someone who's planning a move, and there's a chance that they'd hire you. So your job, when you actually think about it, when you get all these leads, is to try to identify within that group. The first step is just who's the prospects here. And we use that with something we call a hand raiser. So we just put things out there that gets those people to put up their hand. So like, for example, if you get a lead come in on one of your offers, you could do a double dip offer. So they might say like, yes, I want to find out what my home is worth. Then you put in a double dip offer. So after they download that, before they get sent the offer, it shows them a page that says something like, we have offers here, like we'll stage your home, we'll send cleaners out before it goes on the market. Here's our process that gets you X above what the average agent gets. And if you book a 15-minute call, I'll walk you through how we can do that for you. That's a hand raiser for someone ready to go now. It could be people who have opted in on a listing in the past. If you have a new listing coming up that's similar, just send an email saying, hey, we have a listing similar to the one that you asked about last time, would you like it? This could be sending an email to your database in like August, September saying, hey, we're sending out our photographer over the next couple of weeks for some clients who are planning to move this winter so that we have some photos of their home where it's green and there's grass, because that helps it sell. So if there's a chance you might move this summer or this winter, just send me an email now and I'll add your house to our photographer's route. And now those people who might be considering that move 6 months from now are going to put up their hand and say, yep, that's me. Can you add me to that list? Now that's for the initial now leads, those hand raisers of people putting it up. But you also need to get people who are in it for the long term. And that's where we get into a long-term nurture plan. I'm a big proponent of everyone having a weekly email that goes out. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can have a weekly email that goes out and like just is like, here's the deal of the week, or here's what's sold in the neighborhood. The key to that is to offer your insight to it, and then including some hand raisers in them. Or there's the curator, which is you curate like local news, local events, what's going on in the community, and you just send that every week, almost like you're a local newspaper curating everything that's going on, and it keeps them top of mind. So that's the second one there. So you're creating leads, you need the hand raisers. Then you also need a long-term nurture program for those that includes the odd hand raiser in it, so that those who are ready can just put up their hand and say, yeah, I'm ready, let's go. And then you need presentations that convert. So this is your listing presentation, your buyer presentation, and you should be closing well over 60% of the presentations you go on. If you're not, you want to look at improving your presentation. Eventually, as you grow and get better, you should be converting 80% plus. Sometimes if you're converting 100%, that means you're either not charging enough or you're not going on enough of them. And then finally, once you kind of get those two nailed, so you're now down the attract phase, you've done the convert phase, now we get to the engage phase, which is building the loyalty flywheel. So the first part of that, you need to deliver 5-star service. If you're not providing that great service, people aren't going to feel comfortable referring their friends and family because that looks bad on them. So by providing that great service, they're going to be proud and excited to refer you because it makes them look good to their friends. So the first step is look at who in your town provides the best service in your opinion. Because there's a saying by a guy named Phil Jones, who's great. If you don't know him, check him out. And he says, if all things are equal, people buy from their friends, so go out and make a lot more friends. And the first step of that is you got to make things equal, right? So if you are looking at who provides the best service in town, can I get my service to be as good as theirs? Because once it's as good as what you consider the best in town, people are just doing a disservice to themselves if they're not working with you at that point. And that's the mentality you should take going into it. Then what you do is after every deal, sit down, and look back at how you worked with them. And then apply what we call an elevator, which is just look at the process, start to finish, and just say, okay, along the way, here's everything that we do with them. What's one thing I could have done better? It doesn't have to be exponentially better. It could just be a little bit better. But you want to look and say, how could I have elevated their experience? And if you just keep doing that after all the deals that you do, over time, no one will have as good a service as you do. And that's how you get 5-star service. The second is loyalty events. So these should be the client events you do. Now, a lot of people with client events have this idea that they have to be this big thing. But like when you're starting out, like for example, when I was starting out, I couldn't do anything big. So maybe it was a dinner with 4 or 5 people. That could be your client event. But then eventually you could run a movie theater. You could do skating rinks. So I recommend like one big event a year that has all the people you can get out to it. Then maybe you do something simple like I'm going to get a photographer, I'm going to get a park, and I'm just going to say, hey, let's come to this park and we'll take all the photos of your clients. So like all your clients come get a family photo. And then you do a social event, and then maybe you do a holiday themed photo day again later in the year. But if you do 4 of those, that's 16 touches with your database every year that aren't annoying. Because you got the invite, the reminder, the event itself, and a follow-up thank you. Very easy way to stay in touch with your database. Then finally, to complete that loyalty flywheel, we do a VIP program. So this is perks that they get. So the mentality you want to take here is, let's say for just easy round numbers, someone moves every 5 years on average, and your commission is $25,000, just for easy math. That means really, that is a $5,000 a year value between moves for being part of your VIP program. So what could you do? So you every year, or at a more regular cadence if you want, you give them an update on what their home is worth. But at least once a year on the anniversary of the purchase, they should get an updated value, not just a happy house anniversary card. You could do regular Q&As with experts. So you could either do monthly
quarterly, depending on the cadence that makes sense for your business. The monthly one probably is the best to get up to eventually, but doesn't have to. This is where you just bring in experts. So like tax season, bring in an accountant to talk about what's changed this year. And they can do like a free Zoom for all your clients. You can bring in interior designers, architects, contractors, landscapers, just experts for stuff related to the house or the niche that they'd want to hear from these people, and they get an opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have, and those people get an opportunity to get in front of your clients, and then you can also potentially get some social media content out of it. You'd also have your list of preferred vendors, so if they ever like need it, they can be like, oh, I got a guy who can help me, right? It's you become the guy who has all the guys. That's what you're trying to approach there. So it's like looking at that. If you have that VIP program that keeps them loyal, keeps them reaching out to you for value, you have these events and 5-star service, you're going to start getting it. So if we put all those together, so we have the attract, the convert, and the engage phase where we're attracting the right people with content that connects with them, that leads them to see your offers. And then once they get those offers, you have this predictable pipeline of leads going into this conversion flow where people are putting up their hand. You're getting this long-term nurture for those who aren't ready yet. And then when they are putting up their hand, you have these presentations that convert them into clients. Then you provide them that 5-star service. They're going to come to your events, kind of build that rapport with you in person, and be a part of your VIP program. If you have that in your business, all that wrapped up nicely, you're going to get business. Like there's no question of that. So it's just something you have to execute consistently. If you want help with it, reach out to us. JustSellHomes.com. I'm happy to talk to you about how we can help. But if not, just look at how can I have each of these and grade yourself on the 9, right? So under all those, where are your gaps? Just think about it when you were listening to this video. Like what part of those do you not have in your business? Start focusing them. If you want help, we're here. But otherwise, look at how you can implement the ACE framework in your business. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. We'll go more in depth on different parts of this, but we want to get out there a video that kind of walked you through step by step what you might be missing from your business and just apply the ACE framework. And there's so many ways you can make this work. Like you can apply this to be mainly Instagram, to be SEO, to be radio ads, to be almost anything. Like it doesn't really matter that much as long as you pick one, stick to it, and work on improving it. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day and thanks for watching.